Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Puzzle. And this is based off of the trailers, it seemed like pretty straightforward love story of this kept up housewife whose husband isn't worth her being with, and she falls in love with this man that she meets becoming a puzzle partner with him for a competition. This film's a lot more complex than that and a lot more interesting than that, and I was really excited to find out that while I was sitting and watching this film. It's very unexpected where this film goes and these relationships and these characters, because honestly, going in, it seemed like a pretty straightforward thing, but it wasn't. It was something very different. And this film, I feel like, does a really good job of utilizing symbolism for a lot of different things, whether it's different actions a character is doing or like particular items that pop up through the film that do a really good job of representing the whole situation. The ideas of puzzles is a really good use of symbolism in this film. And this film was a lot deeper than I expected. I thought this would be an interesting little love story, but this goes a lot deeper into different kinds of themes, and it carries three very dynamic, interesting characters that have a lot of layers and are more than the stereotypes you might expect from the trailers. And there's this housewife who is a bit quirky in her own right, and her trying to figure out and blossoming into a woman who actually has things she wants besides just being at home taking care of her family. This husband who seemed like just straight up like a stereotypical jerk husband has layers and has some depth and has a history with different things, including his own upbringing. And this character who's this puzzle champion who seems like in the trailer he's just super charming and just going to seduce this woman really easily. He's awkward, he's weird, and he's a bit of a pessimist and has his own things that are making him very turned off from the world and might not be somebody she would want to be with. But also these two characters have a lot in common, looking at boredom and being stale in the lives that they have, and that's a very interesting thing this film takes a look at. And Polly Mann and Oren Moverman are the two writers of this film, and they really put together an interesting story with very dynamic lead characters and a lot of great symbolism, and also themes that are very relatable and people trying to figure out what they want to do in life and what makes them happy. And honestly, the three main performances here, especially with Kelly MacDonald, who plays our main character, she does a fantastic job of carrying emotional moments and delivering some really great lines. And her delivery is in a way that makes her, she comes off being very innocent, but also at moments she can be very powerful and assertive. And you get to see this range of different things, and you can see the awkwardness and discomfort with the situation and her trying to learn what really is going to make her happy. And Irfan Khan, who does a really good job as this puzzle champion, balances this weird oddness and a bit of charm that allows her to be attracted to him in the first place. And David Denman does a good job as the husband in this film, making him a little bit more interesting than just a flat out just like make me a sandwich kind of obnoxious husband character who works all day and expects his wife to take care of him when he comes home. It's, as I mentioned, it's richly thematic, and Chris Knorr, who's the cinematographer for this, does a really good job of utilizing camera work to really emphasize particular scenes. There's one scene where she first arrives in New York City where she's going for these puzzle meetings with this champion, and the camera work as it's like tilting up and looking at the grand scheme of Grand Central Station, and you really getting a sense of how big and new this whole entire experience is for her, and really conveys that really well. And that's some great camera work. And Mark Turtletub, who's our director, really carries this film, puts it together, brings together this story, these performances, gets great performances out of this whole cast, and really is able to convey the emotions of this film, as there's some very powerful emotional moments throughout this film. And The thing is, it also balances some great tones of being dramatic and dealing with some important things, but also being funny and getting some good laughs throughout this film. My only potential drawback of this film, honestly, is that there's some, towards the end, there's one particular thread of story that I think, for me, I could have appreciated a little bit more closure on. But overall, this is a very well done film, really well put together film, and honestly stands out as one of my top 5 films of the year so far at this point. And I highly recommend Puzzle. If you can go find this at like an indie theater or any of like AMC Classics that might be showing smaller films. I'm not sure if I saw this playing at any of the big AMCs, but I would highly recommend, if you can find it, go checking it out. I think it's worth your time, and it's definitely going to be one of the big unexpected surprises of this year.